Brothers and sisters, we are currently praying the Vespers. The copy you have is based on the Breviarians, or the liturgy of the hours. And today we celebrate the feast day of Saint Camillus de Lelis, and he's the founder of the Camillians. We have their formation house here before at Quezon Hill. And the Camillians are an order whose work is in the hospitals. And talking about Saint Camillus de Lelis, humanly speaking, Saint Camillus was not a likely candidate for sainthood. His mother died when he was a child. His father neglected him, and he grew up with an excessive love for gambling. At 17, he was afflicted with a disease of his leg that remained with him for life. In Rome, he entered the San Giacomo Hospital for incurables as both patient and servant, but was dismissed for quarrelsomeness after 9 months. Palaaway po si St. Camillus. He served in the Venetian army for 3 years. Then, in the winter of 1574, when he was 24 years old, he gambled away everything he had, savings, weapons, literally down to his shirt. He accepted work at the Capuchin friary at Manfredonia, and was one day so moved by a sermon of the superior that he began a conversion that changed his whole life. He entered the Capuchin novitiate, but was dismissed because of the apparently incurable sore on his leg. After another stint of service at San Giacomo, he came back to the Capuchins, only to be dismissed again for the same reason. Again, back at San Giacomo, his dedication was rewarded by his being made superintendent. He devoted the rest of his life to the care of the sick, and has been named, along with St. John of God, patron of hospitals, nurses, and the sick. With the advice of his friend St. Philip Neri, he studied for the priesthood and was ordained at the age of 34. Contrary to the advice of his friend, he left San Giacomo and founded a congregation of his own. As superior, he devoted much of his own time to the care of the sick. Charity was his first concern, but the physical aspects of the hospital also received his diligent attention. He insisted on cleanliness and the technical competence of those who serve the sick. The members of his community bound themselves to serve prisoners and persons infected by the plague, as well as those dying in private homes. Some of his men were troops fighting in Hungary and Croatia in 1595, forming the first recorded military field ambulance. In Naples, he and his men went onto the galleys that had plague and were not allowed to land. He discovered that there were people being buried alive, and ordered his brothers to continue the prayers for the dying 15 minutes after apparent death. He himself suffered the disease of his leg through his life. In his last illness, he left his own bed to see if other patients in the hospital needed help. Commentary. Saints are created by God. Parents must indeed nurture the faith in their children. Husbands and wives must cooperate to deepen their baptismal grace. Friends must support each other. But all human effort is only the dispensing of divine power. We must all try as if everything depended on us, but only the power of God can fulfill the plan of God to make us like Himself. So my dear friends, this is St. Camillus de Lelis. If you see priests who have the Red Cross. If you see them with the Red Cross, those are Camillians. And that cross, the Red Cross, was adopted by the Red Cross. And so for us also, when I went to, my first ministry was the sick and the dying. It was a hard ministry because you can see that you are really helpless and you cannot do anything for the sick, especially those who are dying, but to really be present and comfort them. And this is also the message of Mother Teresa of Calcutta when missionaries want to enter her congregation because it was popular. It is popular, but her first training for the novices is to bring these would-be nuns or missionaries to the hardest, to the most inflicted, yung mga may pinakamay sakit. Kasi sa India po, yung mga may ketong, mga ganyan, mababaho po talaga yung mga yun. But to them, they will run to them like they are friends, naka-smile pa sila, and they cannot, hindi nila pwedeng ipakita na nababahuan sila kasi that's an insult to the sick. That's why we pray for the missionaries in the hospitals. Ang pari po natin dito na nagpupunta sa hospital, si Father German. Hindi po siya German, isa po siyang Argentine. Tama po ba? Kaya we pray for those who are in the mission. Yung mga nurses na pinagdadasal po natin dito po ang patron saint nila. And we continue to pray for them and for us also, that we can find our way of holiness through the ministry to the less fortunate.